Part of the reason I like the Flexbone close in NCAA 13 is the reason being I like the vast variety of the run plays in the Flexbone close. You've got the triple option counter to the weak, you got a fullback load option, speed sweep, triple option, fullback dive, wingback misdirection is a very good play to run, especially if your opponent is over aggressive. But then you have some nice things like the wingback dive and some little misdirection speed options and whatnot, as well as the midline. But the real reason I like this formation is the play wide receiver option. This formation is a formation that you can flip without giving a direct tell here. As you can see, we'll just go ahead and flip it, and the play is symmetrical. So this is nice in that your opponent is going to be forced to user guard one of the routes on this, but they are not always going to know which side it's on. And the setup that we're going to use for this play is designed to beat man and zone. And what we're going to do is we're just simply going to wheel route the running back if you're running it to the right side, simply because it gives you a deep option if he's not open in the flat. If you're running it to the left, you'll go ahead and just flip the formation or flip the play and his route flips to the other side. But notice if you hot route after you flip the play, the wheel route goes to the wrong side. So make sure you flip the play to get the wheel to your liking. So once the wheel is on the same side as the angle route, you can flip it and then the wheel goes to that side. But the route that I like on this play is actually the wing back on the right, Smith. He is on an angled route that sits down against zone coverage, but the angle is good enough to beat man coverage. And as you can see here, we're just going to go ahead and run it against this 4-3 under, which is a good run stopping formation due to it only having two bubbles in there in the 4-3 under formation. What I mean by bubbles are areas that are uncovered. Here's one bubble, the left A gap, and the other bubble is right here in the right B gap. So the 4-3 under is designed to best stop the run due to the only having two weakness bubbles and then also appearing to have a 5-man front. As you can see here, this linebacker's walk down, so you have this 5-man front present. But the play is very good against man coverage in that this X receiver gets wide open against man coverage. As you can see when we go to the replay, there's a switch on the play that allows the wingback and the fullback's man to be switched, and the angle route sits down nice against the man coverage, allowing us just to throw it out for a 7-yard gain. Now, if they happen to run zone on you, you can run the same setup and the route will sit down against the zone coverage as well, and you can just pick whichever guy is open. As you can see here, the wheel route gets open down the sideline against a generic cover 2, and you have a touchdown. But what if they run cover 3? You run the same setup, and you will notice that X sits down nicely underneath the outside zone. We get a poor animation there, but you can see, we'll try to run it again, that against cover 3, you can complete this angled sit route underneath the zone coverages. What's nice about this is whenever you have a play that requires user to defend, regardless of whether in man or zone, your opponent is dedicating their user to stop that, meaning that you can attack the 10 players elsewhere. So, for instance, if I've only got 2 hands, but if I had enough, you know that if they're in zone coverage, say cover 3, that they are going to play down in this area on the ball, and it allows you to, we actually get a coverage sack there, but I wasn't using the offense. But if you would have gone to this view, you would have noticed that you have the middle of the field wide open after the snap. So it's nice when you require your opponent to user a route because you have elsewhere open on the field to attack. Not to mention the play is symmetrical, so if we go ahead and we get this right, put them on the wheel first and then hot route it to this side of the field, you get the same effect. You can catch the ball with the wing back against man coverage, or if they happen to be in zone, the same thing. Just put the running back on the wheel first, then flip the play, and you can run it in this fashion. So this is a really, really nice play to run, especially out of such a dominant run formation. Because what's going to happen is people aren't going to be satisfied with just a generic man-under run defense, especially against a formation that's this effective. You can just run the fullback dive against man-under defense up the middle and pick up, if you don't get stuck behind your blocker, you can pick up positive yardage nearly every down, meaning that they're going to start to vacate and blitz on you. So when they're blitzing their linebacking core, you're really going to open up the secondary. And they're actually jumping it right now. But when you start to mix in the other nice effective runs in this formation, not just the fullback dive, but say even the speed option or the wingback misdirection is actually one of my favorites. When you start to mix in all these runs, you can get to the outside. We should have cut that back into the inside. But for those of you who really like a flexbone offense, this wingback or this wide receiver option is a nice one to use, because as you're chipping away, picking up the short positive yardage on them, you can really wear them down and force them into run blitzes, which will open up your pass game significantly. So go ahead and use these run plays to open up this wide receiver option play, as I feel it's something that you can really use to frustrate your opponent out of just this flexbone close offense. So go ahead and take that to the lab and let me know if you have any questions, guys. Thanks.